Seems we have one bad topic after another over here. Is anybody in chat familiar with Mr. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful himself? I know I am. That's why if you look at the screen in front of you right now, Kevin is blocked. I have Kevin O'Leary blocked on Twitter. Kevin is a rich guy. He's a Canadian guy, if I remember correctly. He's a Shark Tank guy. And in my opinion, he's one of the top 3 worst things about the movie Marty Supreme. Kevin prevents me from enjoying that movie as much as I would have liked to, among a few other things. But yeah, Kevin definitely is a factor there. Unfortunately, as much as I like to try to tune him out of my head and try to ignore the existence of Kevin, I got to step in here and give Kevin a little check, a little reminder to pump your brakes and hold your horses, because I don't know where this is coming from, but Kevin apparently is getting a little ambitious, a little hungry, a little big for his britches. He's decided to come in here and encroach on my territory. Kevin, this is my block, Kevin. Kevin, this is my corner. You're stepping up to my corner, Kev-bo. No, again, in Marty Supreme, it was totally lame that they just let him play himself. Like... And also, it's like, he's already a fucking millionaire, billionaire. He doesn't need more money to play himself in a movie. Let somebody else play a stupid billionaire fuck in a movie. Why do we need to actually get a billionaire guy in there to play a billionaire? Surely there's thousands of other people who could have played that part and done so compellingly in a way that didn't ruin the immersion of the movie, but I digress. So Kevin has decided to take to the internet and let us know what are the 5 albums that were so influential that they changed all the music that came after them. Did I nail it? Yes, I did. Kevin asked, and he already gave us the answer. Let's see what albums Kevin has picked for this answer. What are the 5 albums that were so influential that they changed all the music, all of it, every single bit of the music that you know and love and came after these albums was changed due to these albums. Let's see what Kevin's picks are, shall we? Let's hit it.
Our iconic albums, right? And everybody has a different opinion. Everybody. So I was looking through and I was flipping through and I said, I picked 5. Which Beatles album? Revolver.
There we go. Beatles, baby. Revolver. I mean, undeniably based pick in terms of it's a great album, but also, I mean, the point of this video would be that it's an influential album. I don't think we could really deny that Revolver is an influential album when it comes to pop music, when it comes to rock music, when it comes to the boundary pushing studio trickery the Beatles were in on with this record. It's a safe pick. I don't disagree. It is a safe pick. It is an obvious pick. But, you know, when you're making the argument that this is influential, personally, I'm looking more for picks that are true versus picks that are daring. I mean, look, I didn't go into this expecting a deep cut from Kevin. I don't think Kevin's going to come in here and be like, I don't even think Kevin's going to pull out the Velvet Underground and Nico here, honestly. That would be a base pick and that would be a true pick, but I don't even think we're going to go that deep, and that record isn't even that deep of a pull when it comes to widely influential albums. So again, I'm looking more for true picks than I am deep picks. And again, the point of this video, given the title, is it changed all music afterwards. And I would say the influential spread of Revolver is pretty undeniably wide. And yes, he is very dressed. He's very dressed opium. I think he's probably wearing some Rick here. He's probably wearing a little Rick, which I think is cool. It's good for Kevin being tapped in.
I mean, you could tell things were changing for these guys, particularly off the first track on Side 1, Taxman. No one ever heard anything like that before. They were really messing around in the studio.
They just messing around, those boys. They were messing around. But, you know, nobody had ever heard anything like that. No one ever heard anything like it, you know? There's just a thing people didn't hear.
This defined a whole new way people recorded. George Martin working with these guys. But anyways, one of the top 5 in terms of how it influenced music for generations to come.
Okay.
Sing of Summer Lawns by Joni Mitchell. The LA Sound.
Okay, that's an interesting pick. I don't know if you could argue it's the most influential Joni Mitchell album even, though. Is he going to mount an argument in terms of like why this is more influential than any number of other Joni Mitchell records?
Even Prince said this is his favorite album. When I put this on for the first time, this is my original copy. This just blew me away. I'd never heard anything like it.
Okay, you've never heard anything like it again. We're hearing things that are not like any other thing. What does it sound like, Kevin?
All over music today, everywhere. Everybody ripped this off. I mean, she just transcended with this. This is her masterpiece.
Okay.
Dark Side.
Oh, Dark Side of the Moon. Boomer alert! I mean, it's an influential record. I'm not going to deny that.
Side of the Moon, must-have disc, in vinyl, by the way. But also, if you think about how long it stayed on the charts, it was forever. Forever. Why? No one had ever heard anything like it.
Just every single album. No one had ever heard anything like this. When Money came on, nobody had heard a 12-bar blues progression before. Nobody ever heard anything like this. Okay. I mean, what does it sound like, though, Kevin? When you don't have people who actually listen to the music and think about it from an emotional perspective, you're just saying nobody's ever heard anything like this before.
This was a truly studio-made album.
He's sounding like Patrick Bateman, but if he didn't have anything interesting to say. What are the odds that The Money Store is number 5? It is an album that changed everything. So I would say the odds are high.
In London, England. But the tracks are iconic. These guys don't even get along anymore, but their genius is in their masterpiece.
They don't even get along anymore. Yeah. What kind of comment is that? What does it matter whether or not they get along anymore? All of them aren't even alive to get along. What does that even mean? Okay.
Original copy of Let It Bleed.
An original copy of Let It Bleed. I mean, again, these are pretty safe picks, but okay, here's the thing. I'm not, and I don't think Kevin is gonna pull through on pick number 5. I'm going to say this. Okay. I'm going to say this. The point of this video, I imagine on some level, was to crack the idea again. These albums were so influential. They changed all music that came afterwards. And so far we have 3 bands from England, 2 of whom were a part of, sort of the big British rock wave of the 60s and impacted broader pop and rock music in very similar ways, not the same way, but similar ways. So far, I'm not seeing any funk. I'm not seeing any Motown. I'm not seeing any blues. I mean, the Beatles were heavily influenced by the blues. So were the Rolling Stones. Where's the blues? Do we have a blues record? Do we have any records of the records that influenced these bands? Like, come on. Music did not start and end with these guys. And I know that, whittling it down to 5 picks is tough, but the only LA artist that we have so far is Joni. Any ska, I don't know if there's going to be any ska, but, even a Marley record would be surprising for Kevin to pull out. But I don't think we're getting a Marley. Let's listen to Kevin say that when this came out, there was no album that sounded like it.
Rolling Stones. I mean, Gimme Shelter, I think, probably is their masterpiece.
Great song.
Monkey Man. I mean, Live With Me. They're iconic Stones at their creative peak. And look how beaten up this thing is, but I still play it all the time.
Okay.
All right, that's 4.
Okay, well, what did it change about with music, man? Okay. Is this his living space? He just has his records set up like he lives in a store? Pretty baller, I guess. If you have unlimited square footage in your home, I guess anybody would probably set up their shit like that, I guess.
Like Asia.
No, Kevin. I'm sorry. But I know this sounds crazy to say because everybody and their mom loves Steely Dan now. Believe me when I tell you, the love and obsession that you see with Steely Dan, on the internet today, right now, This is a very recent thing. This is a very new thing. Like Steely Dan is, obviously a yacht rock boomer fave, some cool, horny uncle jazz rock. It has its moments. I understand the appeal, but the appeal is kind of niche, in my opinion. There are artists, even from the eras of the albums previously that Kevin was just pulling from, that are far more influential to the wider world of music than fucking Steely Dan Asia. Bob Dylan. The thing about this is, though, Kevin would rather listen to this than something that's even like maybe the least bit like leaning in the direction of the times they are a-changing. Kevin doesn't want the times to change. He wants to listen to some chill yacht rock. While I think the, young re-embrace of Steely Dan is, sort of like a cute little interesting trend. Believe me when I tell you, Kevin is the original intended audience for this music. And there's nothing more uncool, in my opinion, than somebody who stands Steely Dan and actually was alive when they were in their heyday and has been standing them since then. That's the type of person who you want to avoid, in my opinion. In my opinion, we have the same glasses. They're round. I'm very proud of you. I know in kindergarten they teach shape recognition, but there are also elements of our glasses that are different, which if you continue to use your eyes and look further, with more investigation, you might pick those up as well. And I encourage you to point those out in the chat too. But with that being said, very unfortunate and very, I'll say underwhelming final number 5 pick from Kevin over here, because what is the wider influence of this album? Surely you could make the argument that there are some artists, especially today, especially younger artists today who were on that Steely Dan wave, who are influenced by records like this. But you couldn't come up with anything that has more influence than this Steely Dan album, and we couldn't come up with a black artist? What does he say for the rest of this? That nothing else sounded like this album when it came out?
Why? Well, it mixed New York with LA.
It was a little New York. It was a little LA. It was, some of these artists like Joni, they were LA. Some of these artists, they were from the UK. They were trying to be New York, but they weren't from New York. But this was New York and LA.
A technical masterpiece.
A technical masterpiece.
Every engineer that makes music since then basically says this is the album. I mean, these guys were beyond anal in the perfection they were looking for. I listened to this album with anything else.
Beyond anal, guys. Kevin getting anal. That's kind of the thing, though. And look, I'm not saying, again, and I know there's people who are going to be caught in their feelings over this. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy Steely Dan and that you can't enjoy that album. But I need you guys to realize that there is a contingent of people like Kevin who enjoy this album. Not just for, some of the rancid vibes and the crowd that it at one point appealed to, but also because they've been sold on this idea that this is an audiophile album that you only listen to if you're a true audiophile. And, you have a platinum encased Macintosh receiver, and then you have gold cables that go from that to, your super special speakers that have, tweeters that are made of platinum or some shit like that. So, this is like the kind of thing that somebody of Kevin's type, they're going to obsess over because of the engineering quality of it is, and these things are important when it comes to, the quality of music and the way that the music we listen to sounds. I myself am known to bitch about a mix. There's a certain degree to which you can go overboard with this stuff, and it when you go into a hi-fi shop or a stereo shop and, you're looking at some stereos and stuff like that, and you're going to get upsold on gold speaker wire. I promise you, I assure you, as somebody who's owned many stereo systems, the music doesn't sound better because the signal and the electricity is being run through gold. That's just a way to make speaker wire more expensive.
I mean, Asia, the song itself, Anyways, everybody debates everything, but these guys.
Damn. He was about to say something about the music, but then he stopped himself. Damn, he got so close to saying something about the music, but couldn't bring himself to it.
There is nothing like it. So for me, number one, tell me what you think.
Yeah, I'll say at least a few decent picks from Kev there, though. I don't think he really kind of made his case for what was the most influential and why and what it influenced. And the thing that he talked about most was the goddamn Steely Dan album. And the only thing he had to say about it was from like a fucking engineering perspective. And I feel like he only knows that because he's probably dumped millions of dollars on audio equipment, or he personally knows some audio engineers who have secondhand told him how amazing this album is and like how special it is to them from like an engineering perspective or something. So there you go. Kevin, Mr. Wonderful, with some wonderful picks. I wonder what else, is in those bins there next to him. I would be interested to know. I'm sure he's got some cool stuff in there that he's probably blown a pretty penny on.